You wanna put that on that TV right there? You wanna put that on that TV? I got a little box that we can just plug right into it. It'll be right up on that TV.
And it'll be on YouTube Live.
Yep, right there.
You can do that.
Yeah, it only take a couple minutes.
Hopefully. Salute. Salute. And welcome to the Real Big Fruit Podcast. I am your host, Big Fruit, the Michael Jordan of recording, also known as the voice of the streets, but better known as the glue. I do not have my mouse on me, so I cannot work my board. So I got to keep getting up to handle my skin. There you go. I had to get the comments up. That's you, champ.
Okay.
As I was saying, welcome to the Real Big Fruit Podcast. I'm your host, Big Fruit, Michael Jordan of recording, also known as the voice of the streets, but better known as the glue, because I like to keep things together and keep them in a proper perspective. And this evening, that's exactly what we're doing here. We are live here at After 9 Bar and Lounge in Charlotte, North Carolina, with a live interview with Pana, the CEO of After 9 Bar and Lounge here in Charlotte, North Carolina. We're going to get into how After 9 was created, why was it created, how long it's been in existence, what makes it different from every other lounge and bar that's in the city, what are the short-term goals and what are the long-term goals. We're going to get into all of that because After 9 is the new spot to be. But more importantly, we're going to get into the fact that the brother Pana has been going through some changes. And when I say some changes, that means he's been going through the drama with the haters. And his haters come in the form of ex-female employees or ex-female associates or whatever they may be. But if you ask me, I label them as scorned women. Scorned women who can't stay aboard or they can't deal with how you giving it up. And then when they go their separate ways, they attack the business. Yeah. And you know what they say, you can't mix business with pleasure because that's always going to be the outcome. You know what I'm saying? So we want to talk about all that because this, from my understanding, it happened more than once. This is probably the second going around. He didn't learn from his first lessons. But this second time going around, I've taken notice that it's getting nasty and you know, they trying to really slander the business. They really trying to put our business out there in the street. Like, it's disgusting. We need to address it because a lot of false narratives is being put out there. You know, he's on the phone right now, but he's also trying to put the YouTube Live on the big screen. So I guess we'll watch ourselves on the big screen while we conducting this interview. Is he doing too much? I don't know. I'm ready to give this shaking and give him the floor so he can address these haters. That's what I would like to do. There's never enough hours in the day. The boy been working all day. I can't stay from the gig to handle my scandal here. Now you're going to have to go in here. Nah, go ahead.
Still plugged in. I'm sorry.
She put it right there on that table. Yeah, he's trying to put it on the big screen. You know how people are when they see themselves on the big screen. I guess he'll perform better and deliver a great interview when you see yourself on the big screen. This, I think, is kind of dope. He's doing it. He's actually doing it. I'm good. I'm good. What's going on the big screen, though?
That's not connecting to your computer.
Okay. Well, try it. Okay. Once again, we're still live.
All right.
We're still live. Okay, like I said, welcome to the Real Big Food Podcast. I'm your host, Big Food, Michael Jordan McCord, also known as the voice of the streets, better known as the Glue, because I like to keep things together and keep it in their proper perspective. And right now, we are here to do just that. We are live on location at After 9 Bar and Lounge in Charlotte, North Carolina. And we are sitting here with Pana, the CEO of After 9 Bar and Lounge here in North Carolina. Now, we are here to discuss about the creation of After 9. We want you to let the people know how was After 9 created, why was After 9 created, how long has After 9 been in existence, what makes After 9 different from any other bar or lounge here in the city.
Okay.
And what are the short-term goals as well as the long-term goals of After 9?
Okay. Well, After 9 was conceived during COVID. Basically, during COVID, people were looking for places to go.
What year was COVID again?
This is 2021. It was conceived during COVID. It so happens that I had opened up my home to people to come during that time and spend time in my backyard. I had a house that was backed up to the water. And
how many people you talking?
We went from 15 people all the way up to 300, and then we ended up selling liquor and food and so forth. And it was just something that was created out of nothing during the time, during the time in which everyone really needed somewhere to go and, relax and, be outside opposed to being inside. Right. Because it was an acre of land. As I said, it had a lot of amenities, pool and beach and so forth. Nonetheless, that's when After 9 was conceived. I later got with a partner of mine Willie, and he said, "Hey, let's do it. Let's do it." He says, "I'm down with you. If you want to do it, let's do it." I put together a business proposal, a business plan, and did my research. We had people who that had years of experience in the business.
But you did.
No, I didn't have years of experience, but the only thing I had years of experience doing was cooking and entertaining.
Okay.
That was it. One of my mentors, Bo, who currently runs NC Tavern, he guided me in the process. And before long, we made it happen. I built After Nine out myself with my own two hands. It so happens that I've had the building now for about 3.5 years. However, we've only been open for a year.
Okay.
After Nine, basically in business, there's different ways to fund your business. Either you take your own capital, or you take your personal credit and you try to fund the business, or you can open up an LLC. The LLC that you open up, you have to build it. And what I mean by build it, you have to build like the credit and so forth for the LLC in order to get credit cards and vehicles and things of that nature. And this is nothing new that I'm expressing. This is something that's been going on since the beginning of time. And basically what I ended up doing was utilizing basically the same concept which successful people have utilized in funding their businesses.
Right.
So I started After Nine Enterprises. It was March of 2022. And from there, took the guidance of individuals and went ahead and along with my money and some other people's money, we ended up just simply building the business out. By the time we were ready to open up our doors, After Nine Enterprises had taken on a tremendous amount of debt.
Right.
New investors had come on, and I elected to open up a new LLC in June of 2024. This way, the new investors are not incurring the debt
from the enterprise,
right? From After Nine Enterprises, And so After Nine Ventures, which became After Nine Sports Lounge, which we all have been enjoying in this past year or so, was conceived. It was conceived June 17th of 2024.
But the doors didn't open till July.
The doors did not open until July of 2024.
Right.
So everything that I did it in accordance to how people get into business and how they fund their business. Okay. Nothing's underhanded. It's just a way.
Now, once you opened your doors,
mm-hmm.
Once you opened the doors to After Nine, how was the city receptive to you?
Oh, but you know what? The city was very receptive.
Okay.
The city, they came out and they showed out. It was very supportive. During that time, I had no knowledge of the administrative operations of the business,
right?
Because I was more so on the build out, hands-on, building the sections and so forth.
Right.
That's my skill set, and also finances is my skill set. So I'm really good with numbers.
Right.
Anyone who has been in business know that you buy a product at a wholesale price, you sell it at a retail price, you make money. However, in the first 2 weeks of us being open, where we had this place packed from front to back, day party and night party, we didn't make no money. We lost.
Why is that?
It was because after doing my research, I found that a team of people who were hired by the manager at the time, which was Anika, was given my PIN, and they were voiding all cash deals.
All right. Oh, I see where you're going with that. We'll get to that. I still want to talk about the creation of After Nine, the city being receptive to After Nine. What makes After Nine different than the other lounges, bars in the city?
I think that the reason why After Nine was going to be different because it gave a more homely feel. A sports bar, however, in a nice lounge, kickback type of atmosphere. And that's what I was trying to achieve. I didn't want to achieve a club type atmosphere.
Right.
I wanted to achieve an atmosphere where a person actually felt that they were at home, watching the game, having a drink, having some good food, and enjoying themselves.
Okay. So that's what makes it a little different. Mm-hmm. And the fact that it's not a hole in the wall.
Right.
It is not a hole in the wall.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very, very beautiful establishment. Now, let's get into the fact that since After Nine has been in existence and it's had the little success that we've had, you've also encountered a few hiccups.
Correct.
Starting with the fact that when you did open the doors your first 2 weeks, you came to realize that you didn't make no money. And you began to speak on that just a few minutes ago.
Correct.
So that was the very first hiccup.
Correct.
So explain to us, because like you said, I mean mention to highlight the fact that when you came in this business, you didn't have the experience.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so now you don't have the experience, but now you're about to experience some things.
Of course. I mean,
describe those things that had transpired, that you experienced, that transpired, that were hiccups for you.
Well,
and how they really came about.
Well, they came about as a result of poor management.
Okay.
It so happens that in managing the place, which was another individual's responsibility, this person gave my PIN number for the
person that you hired.
The person that I hired to come
manager.
on board as my manager, and also she ended up investing a small amount in the business. She ended up unfortunately giving my PIN away so that a person would have permission to void cash deals, which was her crew that she hired.
Okay.
I found out what was going on.
After 2 weeks.
Yeah, after 2 weeks. I looked into everything. I'm like, there's no way that we put out $8,000 worth of liquor and we're at a loss and we can't even pay, staff 2 weeks later. There's
right.
No way. It doesn't work that way. Right. Anyone knows that you buy a product at a low price, you sell at a higher price, there's a profit margin.
Right.
And I understand, that there's certain things that take place during the time we incur expenses, but not to the point that we end up being upside down. So in me investigating this matter, I found that money was missing. I addressed it with the manager at the time, and she deflected. And everyone that was responsible for it, all of a sudden was gone because that manager who hired these people ended up telling them that I found out. So they never returned to work.
Okay.
And
that hindered the business a little bit.
That hindered. And following up with that, the manager ended up doing some things also, removing of items, and basically skimming off the business. And I found out, and that's where everything got messy. Everything got messy by me kicking her out
of the business.
Okay. She refused to leave.
Now you mentioned she was a small investor as well as an employee. Now, when you say you kicked her out, did you give her back her money and allow her? You know what I'm saying, or you just dismissed her and her beef is she want her money? Like,
well, what initially happened that I kicked her out, and the only way a person can get their money was for the business to make money.
Okay. And she know the business not make money.
Well, yeah, she ended up going on a tirade because
the nerve of her, like
with me kicking her out, I was attacked.
Okay.
At the door, and it so happens that being that I was attacked, and she seen that this was it was over with, she ended up calling the police on me, saying that I attacked her. So
she made it personal.
Right. So, she reversed everything. She was the aggressor. I have, proof of the aggression.
Right.
And as a matter of fact, on many occasions, which I will definitely disclose to the public so they can see things for what they really are.
So basically, it seems like this was a personal relationship that went bad.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Exactly.
Okay. So we need to understand that you mix business and pleasure, which
Correct.
was a no-no. That's why you started off by saying poor management.
Right.
Cool. So we need to get that out there. We can't treat that under the rug. You know what I'm saying? That was poor management. You mix business with pleasure. You learn from your mistakes. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's not to be trusted. But like you said, you came into the business blind. It's understandable. You have to learn from your mistakes. You got to take your bumps and bruises.
Correct.
But the nerve of her as a manager and an investor to say, okay, I'm an investor. I want out, or you getting rid of me. All right, I want my money back. How do you have the nerve to say that when you're the reason why money's missing?
Well, we have to understand something. And though I have the receipts and everything showing, her replacing, like say for instance, a shot of Patron with a bottle of water. Though I have the evidence, I could have pressed charges against her, but I elected not to. It would have been simple enough for her just to say, "Okay, well, listen, I'm gonna walk away."
Exactly. I made my money.
And whether it's that I made my money or just piece me off something,
No.
Or what I'm just saying,
I come from a different cloth.
Well, I know how it is, but when it comes to business, you just can't arbitrarily. You can't arbitrarily not give a person their money.
Right.
So she elected to take another direction and slander my name, as though I was this person who beat her up regularly and all this stuff.
And it was all the lies.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, because
of course.
You ain't have to deal with no criminal prosecution, none of that.
Listen, she ended up pressing charges against me. I went ahead and took a lie detector test.
Polygraph.
A polygraph, right?
For those who know the proper term is polygraph.
And I passed it with flying colors. And that's the reason why I state that, I'm Mr. No Lies Detective.
Right.
Because if you're making these allegations stating that I physically abused you,
right?
Okay, step up and take a polygraph test also.
People don't want to do that.
Of course.
I know what it's like to be the victim, because you were a victim. The victim of slander, the victim of lies. I know what that's like, especially when it's coming from a female.
Well, we're at a disadvantage as males.
That's where I'm
we're definitely.
That's where I'm going.
Right,
You're
we're definitely
at a disadvantage because it's a female, and then it's public, and then it's nasty, and then it's a bunch of lies.
Right. I mean, everyone's narrative is their narrative.
Lies.
You know what I
mean?
The thing is, like. The truth always reigns supreme.
Absolutely.
And I offered a platform to whomever has accused me or is accusing me of anything malicious to come to the platform and take a lie detector test, a polygraph. And it can be either by a company I know or a company that they know. I will pay for it.
Right.
I have no problem with that.
Right.
You
stand on that because you want to defend your
My thing is that a lot of people can say, "Oh, he said this, she said that," and everything else. I would definitely pay for it to show what the truth really is. Absolutely. Now, did we have incidents? Yes, we did. Have I ever touched her? I grabbed her up one night. Because it was 3-4 o'clock in the morning, and she's going off on some kind of tangent. And I said, "Yo," I got out of my bed. And I grabbed her and I said, "Yo, leave me the fuck alone. Stop. Why are you always bugging out?" And she acted out. Oh my God, you just hit me. She threw herself on the. I'm like, "What are you doing?" And you can hear this, and there's a recording of it. You can hear this. I'm like, "What are you doing?" "You hit me. I said, "I did not. I grabbed you with 2 hands by your face and shook you and said, 'Stop fucking with me.'" And unfortunately, she turned it into I beat her up, this and that. But let me give you this: that incident happened April 1st
Okay.
of 2024.
Okay.
We opened up doors July of 2024.
So yeah. I was gonna question that. Why was she here when we opened the doors if she claiming shit like that? You know what I'm saying?
Right. I mean,
you know, she was definitely here. She was definitely here. She helped cut the ribbon. I was looking at her like
right.
she was out of pocket, and it definitely proved me right. She was definitely out of pocket. So now you get past
I left it alone.
The thing with that, because that was more than just a loss for the first
Right,
weeks of business. That got a little nasty for you
Correct.
publicly. So now you got to dig yourself back out of that and get into the groove of things. Because honestly, if people didn't know you personally and people didn't know the business of After 9, they wouldn't notice that was going on because we kept rolling.
Right. And so rather than feed in to the negativity, I elected because, you know, everyone has their narrative and he did this, she did that, he did this, she did that. And it really gets messy. And that's what happened. It ended up getting messy, but I didn't feed into the mess at that time. I didn't defend my name.
Right. Well, you did when you took the your name and your honor.
Yeah, but you have to understand something. I don't have the platform, you know, to really go out there and
yes,
allow
you do.
for it. Well, I did at the time.
Food Park, yes.
Now I do, right?
Yes,
exactly. You know, but nonetheless, that was damaging to the business, and business had tremendously slowed down. And
but
myself, we kept rolling. You know, we kept becoming creative, and people still supported. Not everyone fell by the wayside, and I would like to take this time actually to thank those who still supported, because here it is. We're a year in, and we're still here. We're still here grinding out and doing what we have to do.
Absolutely.
But fast forward.
Fast forward. You get past that.
Mm-hmm.
Things are rolling. Things is rolling. We make the necessary changes. You bring in different people. Everything's good.
Yeah, I mean, you're always going to have.
What was your next hiccup?
You're always going to have hiccups when it comes to promoters.
Okay.
And me learning this business, you know, I was told, all right, don't give away percentage of your bar. You know, they can bring the people, let them charge the people at the door. Let them get their money from the door. You know,
who's telling you this?
This is my mentor telling me this.
Okay.
You know, and he's been in the business over 25 years.
Okay.
You know, so between him telling me this and other club owners telling me this, I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna make this work. Another individual came on board, and she helped. As a promoter, DP, and she helped another female, which was actually her friend that stayed on board and spoke out against her actions, which I have audio recordings of.
The first person that was robbing and stealing, they were in cahoots, basically.
Well, yes, they. I'm gonna say this much. All right, I was under the impression that since she stayed on board after me dismissing her girlfriend, her homegirl, that she was true to After 9.
Right.
That's what the impression I had.
Right.
She was
true to her bad.
She was true to her bad.
Right.
You know, this individual threw a couple of parties. Some were successful, some weren't. However, the problem lied where she didn't regulate her door. She didn't make the money that she should have made. There was incidents where she took money from individuals,
her customers,
for bottles. Okay, overcharged them. I mean, who pays $1,000 for a bottle of 1800 and a bottle of Tito's?
That's insane.
That's insane. You know, charging $100 for a tabletop and not getting service. And this is, you know, as I said, the receipts speaks for themselves. You know, we had a customer actually go on Google review and express this about this individual.
That's never good.
You know, people have to take responsibility. You know,
and accountability.
And accountability. You know, I take responsibility and accountability for my actions, which, I admit that at the end of the day, no one needs to be roughed up. Nobody needs to be grabbed up. You shouldn't have to get physical with anyone.
Absolutely.
Okay. That happened on one occasion,
right,
as I had mentioned, at 3:00 in the morning. So I admit to that. However, I've never beat her up.
Right.
And, come on, the girl 6 foot tall, bigger than me, like.
Yeah, it was kind of.
Yeah, come on. It was, come on. It was like, come on, really? But nonetheless, certain individuals came on board to be promoters, and they had limited success. And being that they had limited success, they tried to get creative, and I tried to get creative in helping them to make money. But you can't take from the bar and take the whole door, and the bar doesn't make enough to sustain itself.
Right.
So my lessons were coming very quickly.
Right, I was about to say lessons.
Yeah, my lessons were coming very quickly because I started looking at the numbers, and I'm a number person. I mean, I can come backwards and add forward, and
right.
That's my thing. Finance is my thing.
Right.
And that's my strength, when it comes to business. So, this individual, she was, her and her family were in a pickle because they lost both of their vehicles within a month of each other. So allowed them free of charge to use one of my Sprinters.
The after 9 Sprinters.
Right. So
the company car.
It so happens that
the company car.
It so happens that upon taking back my vehicle from the manager, all right, that I originally fired, I ended up giving it to them and said, listen, this is what you have to pay on it. All right. I wasn't making any money. You just have to cover the car payment and the insurance. And they agreed. However, they didn't stand up to the agreement and went in to hold $3,000. Okay. So that relationship ended based off of not bad business per se on my part or after 9. It ended based off of bad business on their part and not paying their bill.
Right.
It added up to $3,000, and it comes to a point, enough is enough, because I can't be carrying your family, my family, and the business.
Right.
But nonetheless, that was water under the bridge. I actually told them, look, just give me back the car, and your debt is forgiven, and I forgave their debt. As I said, we had other promoters. Some were good, some were bad.
Right.
Some unfortunately ran into health problems,
right,
and couldn't partake the way they normally would have. But the thing is that individual, I went ahead and made sure, since he was doing a lot at the time.
Shout out to HD.
Right, he was doing a lot at the time. I made sure
he put some work in it.
I made sure to occasionally send him a few $100s just to help him along the way. But I guess it wasn't enough.
Okay.
I guess it wasn't enough. I don't know. I just know that on the anniversary, on our day of our anniversary,
the 1 year anniversary.
Yeah, it was brought to me that he flipped out in here, and I came and basically just focused on business.
Okay.
And I felt that his actions, between him flipping out and between him overcharging customers for bottles, the relationship had to be severed.
Okay. So you're learning that.
Right.
So you're learning dealing with your managers.
Mm-hmm.
You're learning dealing with your promoters.
Correct.
Okay. And you're learning dealing with the personal relationships that's creating extra drama other than the drama you deal with business wise.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You don't need that extra shit when you already got business drama.
Mm-hmm.
So now.
So
today we have a new.
Right. We have a new.
Today we have a new elephant in the room.
Right.
Or a new animal to address.
Exactly.
Because someone else has recently been removed of their duties here at After 9, and they're responding. It seems like they're trying to follow a blueprint.
Right. Yeah, try to,
you know what I'm saying?
assassinate the characters, social media.
Blueprint.
Well, I would tell you,
attack him. And even if we got to come together and do it, I've been there. Right.
They, people look to team up sometime in order to assassinate the character. Right. This individual, Mary, I've known her for years. I had a past relationship with her. She came on board just to assist After 9 in getting through, the first incident. When you say first incident, what you mean? The first incident that took place with the manager, right? Okay. Exactly. The alcohol. So she was supportive in that realm, and what I found that she was supportive only because of the fact that she was trying to win my heart. And we both have we both came to the conclusion that we're better off being friends. So much so that we ended up sharing a house together. She had half the house, I had the other half. However, with her seeing, this is what I gather, and this is what was brought to me. However, with her seeing and finding out, the women that I was dating, she got pretty much jealous, and she was like, "I'm not supporting you anymore. I'm not, going to have your back. I'm not going to. No, I'm out of here." I'm like, okay. When she said, "I'm not supporting you, I'm not going to have your back, and I'm out of here," she's referring to her duties here at After 9. Her duties, she created a role for herself. That's my next question. Right. What was her duties? Right. She wasn't a manager or anything else. She was, quote unquote, a supportive friend that she created her own role. All right. And I was like, I thought it was a blessing. But her creating her own role. Yeah, I felt because she would overextend herself in doing certain things for After 9. Okay. To be truthful. I found it was a blessing, but she was doing it to gain favor in my heart. And nonetheless, I don't know. I really don't know where her beef is or was, because at the end of the day, I didn't do anything to her. She has now went on social media and is trying to put together a narrative about that After 9 is actually defunct. Everything. It's not. She doesn't know the background of what I did in order to, or how you really conduct your business. Right. After 9 Enterprises never was open for business. You explained that in the beginning. In the sense of taking in money. After 9 Enterprises never made a dime because it never opened up as a business. Proof of such is the temporary liquor license. It's not in the name of After 9. No, Enterprise. It's in the name of After 9 Ventures. Right. We never took a dime in after 9, under After 9 Enterprises. Right. The permanent liquor license, which we just got, is in After 9 Ventures. The contracts in which you have is in After 9 Ventures. Mm-hmm. So there is no shady stuff going on with After 9 Ventures or After 9 Sports Lounge. Right. There is nothing shady. Right. But because she scorned. Well, because she scorned. But what she failed to realize is the name change and all of that. Not only was it done, but it was presented to your investors. It was exactly. I didn't. Right. Like, prior to it happening. Right. We know this happened. We know when it took place, why it took place, how it took place, how we benefited from it, and it's been over a year. Avoided the debt. We know all those details. Right. For her to get access to the documents themselves. Well, I would say a question I have. Well, I would say this. First and foremost, all this is public record. Okay. Secretary of State. Okay. You can actually see the timestamps on everything. Okay. All right. So everything is fully transparent. All right. As far as dealing with the finances of After 9, Made sure we had a business, an accountant. All investors have access to the POS system so they can see what the business is bringing in
every night.
Thank you. So she's trying to create a narrative in which looks bad upon me, like I'm not disclosing everything to my investors.
Right.
Meanwhile, she hacked my email, went ahead and emailed you
the
and
investors,
right,
like,
all the investors,
get my email,
right, and on top of that, upon her moving out of the house, this is what really strikes a nerve in me. She brought a crew of people on a Sunday, woke myself up and my daughter.
How old is your daughter?
My daughter just turned 16.
Okay, a minor.
Yes. And I elected to leave the house meanwhile she was moving out. During which time she ended up stealing my jewelry and my daughter's money, which was a big water jug that had $1 bills, $5 bills, $10 bills, and change. And those 5-gallon water jugs, they could hold some money in it.
Right.
But that money was for my daughter's first car. And that's why she was saving it.
Right.
But nonetheless, from that, unfortunately, the spinoff of her doing so and bringing these people in my house, a few days later, her family members ended up breaking in the house when they thought I was here at work, and which I was here at work, but my daughter was home by herself. And she was upstairs. My daughter hid in the closet and called me in the closet, terrified that they broke in the house. So Mary not only stole from me and my daughter, all right?
She puts your daughter.
She put my daughter in harm's way.
Yeah, this is
by her actions. And then to further, try to deflect her actions, she's done what you see here today.
Yeah, because my thing is this, right? If you had a fallout with this man on a personal level, then you should keep it between you and him on a personal level.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying? If you're one of those social media people, you need the attention, then you can go on social media and attack him.
Right.
On a personal level.
Correct.
Once you start doing what you're doing, digging into the files and contacting the investors and talking bad about him and his business, now you're not making it personal. Now you're making it a group thing. You're bringing people involved.
Right.
And that's where you're wrong, because you're talking bad about this man. You're slandering this man as if he's doing something underhanded, which we know you're not. But my thing is this. Okay, why are you telling me now?
Right. Right.
Because he don't want you no more? Because you're no longer up in here creating your own role and getting drunk for free and hanging out? Because when it was all good, you ain't tell me none of this shit. You wasn't sneaking in the email trying to inform everybody that he doing some greasy shit. Don't let him know you told us. You didn't do that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You didn't do that. You waited till he told you to kick rocks, and now you're slandering him, and you're also attacking after 9. Nah, you need to grow up.
Well, I think that
she's out of pocket.
She felt that she had something on me, and what she didn't realize is that my transparency was already in place since day one.
Right.
Giving people access to the POS system.
Right.
Having the profit loss statements generated every month, showing exactly what the expenses were and so forth.
Every month. Right.
Everything was put in place to safeguard the investor's investment.
And you use the word investors, and that brings you, not to cut you off, but it brings you back to another statement I must make. She's too invested in this shit.
You don't have no money invested. Like, ain't none of the investors your blood, your family, like nothing. You're getting nothing out of this.
Well,
why are you so concerned about the investors, their investment, whether they take a loss, whether he's being transparent, whether he's being honest with his investors and his business? Why is that such a concern to you?
Well, I think that with her, she, like, I guess not the typical, but some women feel that, okay, I may not be able to beat him physically, but I can hurt him financially. Okay. I can hurt him emotionally. And so her actions is just that. And actually, I kind of like welcomed what she just did because it allows me now to voice on a platform that will be heard.
Right.
Last year, I really didn't do that. Right. I just simply, right. I actually, and I'll be honest with you, I went ahead and I did that lie detector test, and I left it up for maybe 24 hours, and I took it down because I'm not a social media gangster. I'm not a social media, all this.
Got me for shut.
Yeah, I don't go into all that social media stuff the way she has.
Right.
But nonetheless, it's not only. It wasn't only her with this incident, and past incidents, but there's individuals out there that are playing a charlatan role and have looked to down myself and After 9 individuals in which I had.
That comes into territory because there's a lot of competition out there.
Yeah, but this isn't even about competition. This is about trying to dead a person.
Also, now you're talking about gatekeeping.
Yeah, you
that's what that be about. That be about the gatekeeping.
Man, listen.
Like I said, there's a lot of competition out here in the city of Charlotte. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of beautiful establishments. You know what I'm saying? You got your upscale. You got your grown and sexy. You know what I'm saying? You got your hole in the walls. You got your rowdy crowd. You know what I'm saying? Your hip hop crowd. It's enough out here for everybody. But what you got to recognize is it's a group of establishments that stick together and they rock with each other, and they pretty much they gatekeep. And I get it. You got to put your dues in. You got to put your numbers up and make them respect you. And that's what we're gonna do here After 9. We're gonna make them respect us. You know what I'm saying? We're not looking for no favors, no handouts, none of
Never
that.
have.
We're gonna put our work in, and we're gonna make them respect us.
In actuality, talking about. Man, listen, I've done so many favors, even at the time in which I wasn't financially able to. I put a roof over an individual's head based off the word of a past friend who I felt was a real friend, and he ended up becoming a backstabber. He's talking bad. He's talking bad about me at the bar. Meanwhile, I'm running the trucks for my transportation company, and he's talking bad about me at the bar. Backstabbing and stuff like that. Meanwhile, on his word, I put out $130,000.
He had an establishment. This dude, right?
No, that's the whole thing. He faked as though he had an establishment. He faked as though he had not established. He faked as though he had this transport business, and that he was going to hook me up with NASCAR because he had a contract with NASCAR. But everything fell apart. Everything, his schemes fell apart because one day he tells me, he said, bro, I'm going to put you in the mix with me and my boys. We got this transport thing. Since you got your trucks now, I'm going to put you in the mix. I'm like, okay, what's the mix? What's going on? Yeah, well, we bid against each other on these bids and get the bids up, and that's how we make our money. And I said, what? We're not buying a car. He's like, no, I'm talking about that's how we make our money. They have to pay top dollar for the load now. I said, it doesn't go that way. It goes the opposite way. The lowest bid gets the load, not the highest bid. So right there, his whole thing fell apart.
Scam.
So he wasn't a scammer. He was a charlatan. He was a charlatan pretending to be someone that he isn't. Nonetheless, prior to me finding all that out and cutting him off, I went ahead and rented the room to his friend, okay, because unfortunately he didn't have a place to stay.
That's when you put a roof over their head.
I put a roof over his head. All right, it's supposed to be 3 months and ended up being a year. Things got toxic. Need him to get out.
Never fails.
I had to go through an eviction process. He turns around and signs the order of protection against me, a whole statement. And you can always look up the number right here. This is all public record. He writes a statement against me. And I'm gonna look at this and read it verbatim. All right, telling the police that where is it? Oh, here it is. He walks around with a gun, a black compact. Furthermore, he is 60 years old. He is 60 years of age and has done jail time.
This is motherfucker you gave a house.
I put a roof over his head, and he wrote a statement against me.
That's what they do. They different now, man.
I can't make this up. Please, just go and check it out. The team, they have a band of haters that, as some of you may know, get together and basically gatekeep and look to destroy your character. Meanwhile, at the end of the day, they're writing statements against you.
Doing that shit out there in the music industry, doing that shit out here.
That's crazy.
But it is what it is. Like I said, we're gonna put our work in, like we did. We just opened the new outside.
Yes. That's
the backyard is popping.
The beautiful thing is that even though the progress in getting where we originally wanted to be, with the build out, has been slow, we're getting there. Just like you mentioned, I just completed the outside patio and lounge area out there. You need to come check us out. It's a beautiful environment where you can chill, smoke your cigars, cigarettes, or whatever.
Question for you. What the fall is coming, and the winters will be here. Are we going to get the big?
Yeah, we'll have the heaters out there. We'll have some covering and so forth. But it's all part of the business plan. Right. The architectural drawing shows.
I see that sign out
shows
us.
Too. Yeah, exactly. Little by little,
I pulled up. I saw the sign play. I said, "Oh shit, he working on the sign now."
Hey, little by little, that's like a $14,000 tab by itself.
I know.
I just simply, forged ahead during this past year and stayed to the course of the business plan. And I'm going to say this to individuals out there. You're gonna have individuals who you think are on your side, but they're really not. They're gonna stab you in the back every time they get a chance. The thing is to always go back to the basics. Always go back to your plan. Stay focused on your plan. I know sometimes it may be hard. However, if you stay focused on your plan, you'll be able to achieve your goal. I'm here to say that because against all odds, After 9 is still here. We're striving to be one of many Black-owned businesses that survive in Charlotte. We're not going anywhere. We're here to stay. We're going to continue to build out After 9. We're going to continue to throw live events, comedy shows, you name it. We're in the game and we're not going anywhere. I really, once again, shout out to all my haters. You gave me the motivation, and the fortitude to stay strong during this past year. And this is only more motivation, showing that even a person that I considered a dear friend and close to my heart, all right, will flip. I don't know what is in the water these days, but it's bad when you flip and you go to the other side. You go to known enemies, of your quote unquote friend, and team up with known enemies of your quote unquote friend to go against your quote unquote friend. So you were never a friend in the first place. You never had any loyalty. And this goes out to many people out there who I know for a fact, and you know who you are, that have turned and flipped. Whereas here it is, at times I saved your life. At times I fed you. At times I made sure that, you had a drink when you came to after 9. You know, you enjoyed my blessings at my house when I had my house on the water, but yet you turn around and stab me in the back. You know, I guess what's the name of that song? Backstabbers, right?
I'm trying to get to some of these comments.
You know, it's real out there. It definitely is real.
HD in the building. Shout out to HD again. That's my guy. He's in the building. He said 2 bottles of Dawn Rep and Hennessy is $900 plus dollars. $900 plus dollars. That's crazy. He said,
yeah, not here.
He said, go there and order that and tell me what they charge. Applehead was popping. I see you.
Yeah, we definitely don't charge that.
This must be her. Take another one thing. Take a lie detector and let's ask about that credit. And let's take a lie detector to see if the current alcohol license is legit.
Oh yeah, that current alcohol license is legit. Yo, listen. Only thing anyone has to do to check out our business, you can go right on the ABC website to see whether or not the alcohol license is legit. You know, everything here is.
She want attention because she just entered the chat and just started going crazy, saying a whole bunch of rhetoric bullshit, but she ain't gonna get that shine, you know, from me.
You know, at the end of the day,
your Applehead was popping, your HD was popping, your Ella Dawn was popping. Need more blessings. My man Applehead said, "Preach! I'm taking advantage of this for knowledge. I know where homie coming from."
You know,
blessings to you, brother.
Thank you, thank you. You know, anyone out there that wants information, you know, wants guidance on starting their own business, I would definitely turn it down for me, please.
My bad.
I would definitely give that knowledge off free of charge. I don't charge anyone for knowledge. I can't take it with me, you know, when the day comes that I pass. You know, what I can do is pass it on. So therefore, you can go ahead and not have to reinvent the wheel. I haven't reinvented the wheel. You know, I just simply forged ahead and followed the plans that was out there and was written by people who came before me. But nonetheless, you know, I would definitely guide anyone that wants the guidance, and it's all free of charge. And that's how the blessings keep on coming my way.
HD just tried to send some money this way. He said, well, if that ain't the price, then people need to go over here and go crazy and buy these bottles. Yes, after 9 is the spot. This is where y'all need to be. Come get these bottles. Listen, you got anything else you want to say to the people? It's getting late, millions of hours of the day. I've been running
I know that's right. No, what I want to say is thank you for this opportunity.
Listen, man,
you know, to be on your platform. You know, I wish you continued success.
Thank you, brother.
You know, that this is what we have to do.
Thank you.
You know, we have to come together and we have to promote each other, support each other, and not tear each other down.
Listen, man, as human beings and as men, especially black men, you know what I'm saying, coming from where we come from and not trying to ever go back to where we come from, it's a struggle, man. And when we clash, we got to talk, man. You know what I'm saying? Real men talk. Real men admit when can admit when they're wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, no transparency. Just be real with a motherfucker.
Right.
Tell them what it is or tell them what it ain't. You know what I'm saying? A motherfucker respect that than you just lying and being greasy and grimy. You know what I'm saying? You got to be loyal. You know what I'm saying? You got to be honest. You know what I'm saying? You got to accept no just like you accept yes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But as men, black men, you know what I'm saying? Trying to make a difference and trying to take care of our families out here and not return back to the penitentiary or throw rocks at the penitentiary. We gotta talk, bro. We can't be acting like chicks, having attitude, not speaking to each other, talking behind each other back.
But social media. But you have to understand something.
We can't be doing that.
What we have to understand, right? We can't be.
Nah.
You know, but unfortunately, you know, our people have been conditioned to go after each other.
Right.
You know, and we have to go back to like the 60s and 70s, you know, and be a community. Us. Be a community.
Yeah, all we had was us.
Right. We have to be a community. Right now, we're running around here as individuals trying to outdo each other.
Absolutely.
It's not about outdoing each other. I create jobs. Prior to After 9, I had a car lot. I had 2 car lots and a custom shop. I had an auto transport business. Since I've been in Charlotte, which October me make 18 years, I've only worked for corporate probably about a year out of my time here in Charlotte. Self-employed, creating jobs. I occasionally take a youth, and those who are watching this, they can verify the fact that during the summer, if I were to do a flooring job and so forth, I want a teenager that I can teach, and I pay him an hourly wage to where I would teach him to do flooring. I would teach him to build a deck. After 9 is not just about me. It's about us as a community. It was about a dream that came together based off of basically a hard time for all of us, which is during COVID, and it came together in a kind of way in which jobs were created. Now, unfortunately, you can't grow a business without the support of the community. It works hand in hand.
Yo, once again, man.
So one thing I ask you to do is to make sure you stand up for yourself and for your community.
I'm gonna end by saying this. Mary is still in the comments talking about this. I'm gonna say this to her. You keep proving me right. Why are you so invested? Why do you care? Ain't none of this shit your money. Nothing. Like if he's sitting here lying to me and I'm gonna take a loss as an investor, why do you care?
Well, as I said, everything is public record.
Yo, go bump your head somewhere, please.
Go ahead and everyone can go on ABC website, see that we are fully licensed to operate.
Do what we do.
And
we're gonna keep the doors
and
open.
we keep right. And we're gonna keep on going.
You know what I'm saying?
So once again, shout out to all the haters out there, and also a respectful salute and shout out to all those who have supported After 9 during this.
They say,
this
my God,
period.
Keep up all the good work and atmosphere at the bar, man. That's
no
what
doubt.
They said in the comments.
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. We want to appreciate y'all for hanging out. So
thank you. Thank you. I appreciate your time.
We had a great time. You know what I'm saying? We tried to get it on the big screen, but it didn't work out. You know what I'm saying? So we had technical difficulties After 9. But we gave y'all the interview y'all wanted. You know what I'm saying? Okay, that is HD's. But she said HD and I were a blessing After 9, never took a dime and was never given any handouts. Wishing After 9 nothing but success. Thank you, my mom. That was the HD wife.
No, Dava was excellent. Yeah, Dava, you know what? She's an excellent accountant.
Good people.
If you want an excellent accountant, definitely shout out to Dava. She put work in here.
Absolutely.
And
I told her,
taking care of the books.
My favorite couple out here in Charlotte. Those my people.
Mm-hmm.
Salute. Listen, man. Until next time, y'all know what it is. It's your boy Big Fruit. I'm out of here. Yeah, I ain't bring my mouse with me, man. I knew I was rushing. This is my traveling computer.